In our modern world, we are surrounded by an endless supply of calories. We eat when we wake up, we snack while we work, and we feast before we go to sleep. But from a biological perspective, this constant state of fed is actually a state of emergency for your cells. For millions of years, the human body evolved in an environment of feast and famine. Our ancestors didn't have refrigerators. They had periods of deep hunger, followed by successful hunts. This rhythm created a master switch in our biology, switch that only turns on when the food stops coming. When we are constantly eating, our body is in a permanent state of growth and storage, driven by the hormone insulin. While growth is necessary, staying in this phase forever prevents your body from performing its most important task: maintenance. Think of your body as a high-end restaurant that never closes its doors. If the kitchen is always cooking, when do the floors get mopped? When do the ovens get cleaned? The answer is they don't, and eventually, the system breaks down. This is exactly what is happening inside your cells when you skip the fasting phase. This is where the groundbreaking discovery of autophagy comes in. In 2016, Yoshinori Osumi was awarded the Nobel Prize in Medicine for uncovering the mechanisms of this process. Autophagy is your body's way of taking out the trash. It is an evolutionary self-preservation mechanism where the cell identifies broken, old, or dysfunctional parts like damaged proteins or worn out mitochondria and literally eats them. Once these parts are consumed, the cell breaks them down into their basic amino acid components and uses them to build brand new, healthy cellular structures. It is the ultimate recycling program. But here is the catch. Autophagy is incredibly sensitive to nutrients. As long as your blood sugar is elevated and your insulin levels are high, the cleaning crew stays at home. To invite them in, you have to embrace the one thing modern society tells you to avoid: hunger. The transition from growth mode to repair mode is governed by a protein called mTOR. When you eat protein or carbohydrates, mTOR is activated, telling your body to build and grow, to reverse your biological age and clear out the cellular debris that leads to diseases like Alzheimer's, cancer, and heart disease. You must learn how to silence mTOR periodically. By strategically using fasting, you aren't just losing weight. You are initiating a genetic deep clean. You are forcing your cells to become efficient, resilient, and youthful. In this video, we aren't just going to tell you why this matters. We're going to show you exactly how to trigger this biological miracle through different fasting protocols. Are you ready to stop feeding the aging process and start fueling your longevity? To truly master autophagy, you need to understand two master switches that dictate your biological fate: mTOR and AMPK. Think of these as the gas pedal and the brake of your cellular metabolism. Most people in the modern world have their foot glued to the gas pedal 24/7, and that is a recipe for premature aging. mTOR, which stands for Mechanistic Target of Rapamycin, is the body's primary growth sensor. When you eat especially proteins and carbohydrates and turns on, it tells your cells to build, divide, and grow. While this is essential for building muscle and recovering from injury, chronic mTOR activation is like a fire that never goes out. It blocks autophagy, allows damaged proteins to accumulate, and is a major driver of age-related diseases. In the world of longevity, too much growth, too often, is actually a death sentence for your cells. Now let's look at the other side of the tug-of-war. AMPK, this enzyme is your body's metabolic fuel gauge. It senses when your cellular energy is low. When you stop eating and your insulin drops, AMPK wakes up and takes the stage. Its first job? To shut down mTOR. It's like a foreman walking into a factory and saying, "Stop the production lines. We have a massive cleanup to do." When MPK is high, your body becomes a lean, mean repairing machine. It switches from burning glucose to burning stored body fat for fuel, a state known as metabolic flexibility. But more importantly, it initiates the quality control process. It scans your cells for faulty mitochondria, the energy-producing powerhouses, and if they are broken, it orders them to be recycled. This specific type of autophagy, called mitophagy, is perhaps the most important anti-aging process in existence. New, vibrant mitochondria mean more energy, less oxidative stress, and a younger biological profile. The secret to a long and vibrant life isn't about keeping mTOR off forever. You need it to maintain muscle and bone density. The secret is the cycling between these two states. We're designed to pulse between growth and repair. By using intermittent fasting, you are finally giving the AMPK pathway the time it needs to perform deep cellular maintenance. You are essentially cleaning your biological software. By the time you take your next meal, you aren't just putting fuel into an old engine. You are putting fuel into a refurbished, optimized machine. But exactly how long do you need to wait for this process to peak? In the next part, we will look at the autophagy timeline and what happens to your body at the 12, 16, and 24-hour marks. To truly harness the power of cellular renewal, you need to understand that your body operates on a biological clock. What happens at hour 4 is vastly different from what happens at hour 18. Let's break down the fasting timeline. Within the first 4 to 8 hours after your last meal, your blood sugar begins to decline and your insulin levels drop. Your body is still using the energy from your last meal. By hour 12, you enter the metabolic switch zone. At this point, your body has exhausted most of its glycogen stores, the sugar stored in your liver. Now it must find a new fuel source. This is when lipolysis begins. Your body starts breaking down stored body fat into fatty acids, which the liver then converts into ketones. Ketones are not just a cleaner fuel source for your brain, they act as signaling molecules that tell your cells to become more resilient to stress. Hour 16, the autophagy sweet spot. Between hours 14 and 16 is where the magic really starts to intensify. This is the autophagy threshold. As insulin stays low and AMPK stays high, the cellular cleaning crew we discussed earlier officially clocks in for their shift. Research suggests that at the 16-hour mark, the rate of cellular recycling increases significantly. During this window, your body starts seeking out damaged proteins and senescent cells, often called zombie cells. These are cells that have stopped dividing but refuse to die, lingering in your body and secreting inflammatory chemicals that age your surrounding tissues. By reaching hour 16 regularly, you are effectively sending in a specialized team to dismantle these zombie cells, reducing your systemic inflammation and lowering your biological age 1 hour at a time. Hour 24 and beyond, deep regeneration. If you decide to push toward the 24-hour mark, you enter a state of deep regeneration. Studies on intestinal stem cells have shown that a 24-hour fast can dramatically increase their regenerative capacity. Your body begins to produce more brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. Think of BDNF as fertilizer for your brain. It helps repair old neurons and supports the growth of new ones. At this stage, your growth hormone levels can spike by as much as 300 to 500%. This is the body's ingenious way of protecting your muscle mass and bone density while it performs a total system reboot. You aren't just not eating, you are undergoing a profound biological transformation. You are giving your DNA the quiet environment it needs to perform repair work that is impossible when the digestive system is active. Now that you understand the profound science of autophagy, the question is, how do you implement this into your life without feeling overwhelmed? The most accessible entry point is the 16 to 8 protocol. This means you fast for 16 hours and consume all your calories within an 8-hour window. For most, this is as simple as skipping breakfast and having your first meal at noon. For those looking to take it a step further, there is OMAD1 meal a day. This 23-2-1 protocol pushes the autophagy switch to its limit daily. But remember, longevity is a marathon, not a sprint. The best protocol is the one you can sustain. Even starting with 14 hours fast can begin to reset your insulin sensitivity and prepare your body for deeper cellular work. The clean fast rule. One of the biggest mistakes people make is accidentally breaking their fast. To keep autophagy at its peak, you must stick to a clean fast. This means no calories, but more importantly, nothing that triggers an insulin response. Black coffee, plain green tea, and water are your best friends. Beware of healthy additives. Even a splash of milk or a pinch of artificial sweetener can signal to your mTOR pathway that food has arrived, effectively shutting down the recycling process before it even peaks. Stay clean, stay hydrated, and let your enzymes do the work. The art of breaking the fast. How you end your fast is just as important as the fast itself. After a period of autophagy, your body is primed for refeeding. This is the growth phase, where your body uses the recycled materials to build new structures. Avoid breaking your fast with processed sugars or heavy carbs, which can cause a massive insulin spike. Instead, opt for high-quality proteins and healthy fats. Think of it as laying down high-grade bricks for your newly renovated cellular house. Final conclusion: join the evolution. Autophagy is more than just a biological trick. It is an ancient gift of healing that we all carry within us. By simply changing when you eat, you are unlocking a version of yourself that is more resilient, more energetic, and biologically younger. You are moving from a state of constant consumption to a state of conscious evolution. We've covered the why and the how of fasting today, but what should those meals actually look like to maximize your results? In our next video, we will dive into the longevity diet, the specific superfoods that complement autophagy to create the ultimate anti-aging synergy. If you're ready to take control of your biological clock, hit the like button, subscribe to PureSpan, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. Let us know in the comments, what's the longest fast you've ever completed? Thank you for watching. Stay disciplined, stay vibrant, and we'll see you in the next protocol.